You. It's good to be here.
Yeah, girl. I'll be calling you soon too, by the way. Good morning. If you've got your shift book, we're going to be in shift. I'm going to start on page 178. Now, it's interesting because when I was reading this morning, I got to a part of my book that wasn't highlighted. Matter of fact, there wasn't anything on the page at all. And I thought, that's interesting. I wonder if I've ever shared from this part of shift before or not. And I'm going to guess no, because there was no notes and no highlights or no nothing. So maybe I've actually got original material for you today. Who knows? That would be great, right? Hashtag sarcasm. All right, middle of the page, 178. By the way, 3 major points today. Become the local economist of choice. Help them tap into their why. Gary Keller is speaking about buyers in this conversation when he says, help them tap into their why and address buyer reluctance. And you want to give this conversation a title, it's 3 ways to energize buyer urgency. All right, middle of the page. You want to avoid the reluctant and you want to work with the urgent. Now, something inspired me to have this conversation with you yesterday. I don't know if Alex is in the group or not, but I'm having a coaching conversation with Alex yesterday, and he's sharing with me, by the way, guys, when you have a coaching appointment with me, I should have you sign a disclaimer. I have the right to share anything that you share in that coaching appointment for the good of other people. How's that? And he's sharing with me that he's got 4 buyers that he's currently working with, and stressed, frustrated because he's written like 14 offers for these 4 buyers and their deals are either not coming together or they're falling apart. And it made me think of this section in the book. All right, let me start over again. You want to avoid the reluctant and you want to work with the urgent. You're looking for buyers who are ready, willing, and able. And the reluctant is the group that is not willing. They're ready and able, but they're not willing. And they could be not willing for a number of reasons. And it's important, especially now, that you're focused on the ready, willing, and able buyers. Now, Gary goes on to say, if you can't help a buyer overcome the reluctance today, it may be better to drop them into your cultivation program and check back with them another day. So let's go to the whiteboard. And the lead generation model, we have capture, we have connect, we have convert to an appointment. The end result of an appointment is they sign a buyer agency agreement. And we're working with 4 buyers. These are little stick people over here. And the question is, are they A buyers, B buyers, or C buyers? Well, A buyers are the buyers who are ready, willing, and able to buy. They're going to buy in the next 30 days because they're motivated. Find the motivated. What Gary is saying is it might be a good idea to take the buyers who are not ready, willing, and able and move them back to cultivation. In other words, put them back in follow-up. Now, you don't want to do this in a way that you're going to lose the opportunity. So there's skill and there's scripts involved in this. And you're doing this in a way that they agree that it's the right thing to do to put looking for a home on hold for now, Nick. And let's just stay in touch. I'll continue to send you properties. I'll continue to check in, and let's give it a little bit of time until it's a better time for you to buy a home. All right. Now, he goes on to say your focus must be on the motivated. While it's true, you can't motivate a buyer. So if they're not motivated, you can't motivate them. And in this coaching conversation, one of the things that I was hearing was the agent that I'm coaching was more motivated for that buyer to buy a home than the buyer was motivated to buy a home. And he had a good heart. He was coming from a good place. It wasn't to get a commission check. It was because he could see that they really needed to buy. And he really wanted to help them do that. The problem was they weren't willing. Okay, so if you can't motivate them, what can you do? You can aid them. There are proven ways you can educate buyers on the market, support their tapping into their personal reasons for moving, and help them overcome their fears in order to rally them to become buyers now. Those three ways are: become the local economist of choice, help them tap into their why, and address buyer reluctance. So local economists of choice, page 179, 3 lines down. When it comes to buying real estate in a shift, most buyers are letting others do too much of their thinking for them. These other people might include family, friends, and the media. On one hand, there's nothing wrong with this. A lot of good information can come from these sources. On the other hand, if these are the only real estate information sources people are using, then they are not getting the entire story. One of the things that I did when I was in production and I was sitting on a listing appointment, Nick, I would have a conversation with the seller, script, write it down. I would say, okay, so now that you've hired me, Hervé, to sell your home, I need you to do me a favor. Don't listen to the media. Don't listen to your friends. Don't listen to your family. Don't listen to your neighbor. Don't listen to anybody else when it comes to real estate. I am your one and only source for all things real estate. And it's important that you do that because they're going to continue to listen to all of those people. I had a home that was under contract and a roofer came out to give the seller an estimate on a minor repair they needed to do in order to get to the closing table. And the roofer told her, you should really just cancel the contract and not sell your home because it's not a good time to sell now. She was going to make a decision on whether or not she sold her home based on information and advice she got from the roofer. It's like going to the dentist and saying, my ankle hurts. What should I do? I have no idea. I'm a dentist. You might want to go see. All right, you guys got the point. All right, so what's missing? Expert advice. When we need specific information and opinions to make serious decisions, we seek a professional. You guys do that in all areas of your life. I just gave you an example. I was a little bit sarcastic, but I still gave you an example. From health issues to diagnosing our car's engine woes, we invariably put the most weight on the information and opinion of a trained professional who specializes in a specific area. All right, so let me stop and just check in. True or true? What Gary Keller is sharing with us. Is this true or is it true? It's true. You guys are with me, right? Okay, keep listening. So why not real estate as well? Why is it in real estate, for some reason, everybody's an expert? Because everyone, including the media, thinks they're an expert. Interesting, right? Go to page 180. Third paragraph. Willingness lives in a buyer's market expectations. My willingness to buy, Hervé, is in my market expectations. In other words, if I expect good things, then I am ready, willing, and able. Let's go. If I think the sky is falling, I watched a YouTube video this morning where the person who was sharing was talking about this doom and gloom prediction, and then he's predicting that we're headed for this just, I'm not going to finish the sentence because I don't want to plant any seeds of doubt in your mind. Let's just say it wasn't good. All right. By the way, anybody watching that video, calling their real estate agent today and saying, never mind, I'm not buying a house. So you need to speak louder than those people. All right. Notice I didn't write market realities. It's market expectations. Expectations are what drive willingness. They can be fact-based, but they tend to be emotion-based. Here's a scary part about that. Logic makes us think, emotion makes us act. And if our market expectations are emotion-based and it's negative emotions, how willing am I to buy a home? Not very willing. A buyer's sense of the market can become a tailwind that drives them forward or a headwind that stops them cold. Some people look like buyers because they are able and ready to buy. But then you find out instead of willing to buy, they're waiting. In other words, yes, let's go out and look at lots of homes. I'm fine with you spending lots and lots of time with me and money and gas and showing me lots and lots of properties. And I'm willing if I get a great deal, right? Remember, sellers go to script school? Well, so do buyers. And the buyers have even fewer scripts than the sellers do, by the way. And one of their favorite scripts is, I'm looking for a great deal. Now, when I would hear that, my question would be, tell me what a great deal looks like. And if the buyer says, well, a great deal is, I get the property at a great price, then the follow-up question to that is, well, tell me what that looks like. Well, a great price would be if I could get it at 90% of the asking price. Now, let me ask you a question. If the property is priced correctly, knowing the data that I've shared with you, is that buyer getting that property at 90% of the asking price? Say no. Is that a ready, willing, and able buyer? Say no. All right, we're going to skip over to page 184, and we're going to talk about tapping into their why. At the end of the day, nothing trumps a buyer's personal motivations and reasons for moving. Compelling personal motives guide people through their lives and sit at the heart of their biggest decisions. This is why it's so important to do a needs analysis. This is why it's so important to go deep when you do the needs analysis page. And when you ask somebody, where are you moving to? And you hear, I'm moving to blank. What's important to you about moving there? Why is that important? What would that do for you? I'm moving because I need a bigger home. Why do you need a bigger home? What is important to you about that? What would that do for you? Just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper because you want to find the why. You want to be able to find a powerful why. If the why is not powerful, they may not move. Little why, probably not buying. Big why, they're buying. All right, middle of the page. Tapping into somebody's why is helping them find that string and pulling it so that the heart sits equally with the head. Last paragraph. The best way to get to understand a client's motivation is to ask personal questions. Why are you thinking about buying? Tell me more. Now, what will that do for you? What will that mean for your family? Now, once you've discovered their why, Gary goes on to say, when you have their answer, you must keep it on the tip of your tongue and at the top of their mind. In other words, when I'm having a conversation with you, Nick, I'm asking you constantly, does this property fit all of the criteria that you shared with me? Clarissa, when you shared the 5 things that you had to have, does this property have all 5 of those? When we look at the 5 things that you wanted to have, how are we doing there? So what I'm hearing you say is this property absolutely checks all the boxes. It's going to give you an opportunity to buy a home before the end of the before the holidays so that you can celebrate the holidays with your family in your new home. This will get you, so putting an offer on this property today would get you in that property no later than the middle of December. So you're in this beautiful new home where all of your children have their own bedroom by in time for the holidays. I'm just feeding back to them their why. I'm keeping it on the tip of my tongue so I can keep it at the top of their mind. Are you guys getting this? Super important. All right. Go to page 188. 186. I need new glasses. Overcome buyer reluctance, and we're going to close. When the market changes, it can throw people off balance. They were going along with their life, and then the market tosses a wrench into the engine, driving their decisions. All of a sudden, they're not sure of themselves and are hesitant to move forward. Page 187. Test this with a buyer. So this is the conversation Gary wants you to have with a buyer. Ask them the question, do you think prices have dropped? They'll answer yes. Now, by the way, you can change that question. Do you think prices are dropping? And you'll probably hear yes. Maybe you won't. You probably will. Next, ask, do you think they'll ever go back up? You guys are laughing, but I promise you, one of the most common questions I got in 2011, 12, 13, 14 was, do you think the prices will ever go back up? I got that question all the time, right? They're seriously concerned about this. They're seriously concerned that the values are going to drop and they're going to stay there. Well, history proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that that's not true. Prices fall and they go back up. History also proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that they don't stay at the top forever either. They eventually come down. So ask them, do you think they'll ever go back up again? Again, they'll say yes, eventually. Then ask, so aren't you then saying that it's actually okay to be out buying again? Boy, that's brilliant. Do you think they'll ever go back up again? Yes, I do. Eventually, I think they will. So aren't you saying that it's actually okay to be out buying again? In other words, Paige, this is to that buyer who's like saying, I'm worried, I'm waiting, I'm going to wait and see what the market does. I'm going to put this search on hold because I'm worried about the market. All right, fair enough. Response. Do you think prices are dropping? Well, yeah, I do. That's why I want to wait. Okay, fair enough. Do you think they'll ever go back up again? Well, yeah, eventually. Okay, then what I'm hearing you say is it's okay to go back out and look at homes and re-engage in the buying process. One of the other questions you can ask them is, how long do you plan on living in your home? Most people, that answer is going to be 8 to 10 years, by the way. And history proves that 5 years on average, your home is going to be worth more than it is today. Even if the market goes down, it will go back up. And there's very few exceptions to that. Okay. So for all the C's that are super accurate, I get it. If somebody bought a home in 2006, it's not worth more in 2011 than it was in 2006. That's 5 years later. I get it. I really do. It's okay. However, somebody who bought their home in 2010, by 2015, it was worth more. Go back and study history. All right. Very few exceptions to this. If somebody bought a home in 2015, was it worth more in 2020? Yeah, it was. If somebody bought a home in 2001, was it worth more in 2006? Yeah, it was. There are very few exceptions to this. All right. Given how you feel, if we found the home today that met all your needs and your most important wants, is there any reason why you wouldn't make an offer to purchase that home today? I'm going to close on that because that's so important. Please write it down, write it down, write it down, and use it on every buyer appointment you have before you go out and look at homes. I've shared with you before that as a real estate agent, I sold more than 100 homes a year, and I've never worked with a buyer, right? Okay, so that's 99% true. There was actually one day where I was covering for one of our buyer agents, and I did go out to show homes that day. And I called to confirm the appointment, and the person that I was speaking to said, are we confirmed to look at homes today? And I said, no, we're not. She said, what? She thought I was canceling on her. I said, we're confirmed to buy a home today. She laughed, and they wrote an offer and went under contract that day. Ask them again. Given how you feel, if we found the home today that met all your needs and your most important wants, is there any reason why you wouldn't make an offer to purchase that home today? Pause and add one last thing. Sellers are in the same situation you're in. They also know prices will come back up someday, but they don't know when. Genuine sellers want to or need to sell, but they have fears too. They don't know if prices will go lower either. So if they can sell today, they will. That means they are ready to deal because they're afraid today might be the best price they get. This makes most very willing to consider all reasonable offers. Once the market settles or shows any signs of improvement, opportunities start slipping away. Well, why is that? Because now sellers have confidence. They see that the bottom came, the bottom passed, and now the market's getting better. Now I'm not willing to deal. All right, talk to me. What'd you guys hear? By the way, if you're not a speed writer or speed typer and you didn't get every word of that, then just shift. Gary wrote an amazing script for you. He wrote several amazing scripts for you. Just read pages 178 through 187. Study it, internalize it. Megan, talk to me.
So during my buyer